Hello, hello.
Hey Vlad, how you doing?
There we go.
Okay, welcome everyone. So we have a few announcements. Time out. I'm going to just say a little thing about mine. So I'm out from this Wednesday through to the following Tuesday. So if you need anything, please drop me a note today or tomorrow, and I'll do my best to help out.
What should we do with the expenses, Amy? Should we send it to you today?
If you can do that would be great. Yeah, if you know you're going to miss the date, then just let me know. I am around, so I can always just pop on later this week if I know I need to and click a button. That's no trouble. So if you know you have some and you might miss me, just let me know.
Thanks.
Cool. So Michele, you have this first item.
Yes. We had a session last Wednesday with the delivery system team. It was a session that we usually only booked 1 hour. It was time boxed. We had a set agenda with several activities. We used a co-creative approach with a whiteboard, and the goal of this session was to come up with an ideal target state, kind of utopical, that we would like to aim to for the delivery system, where we would like to innovate or try to say something. Okay, how cool would it be if we could be able to do to a delivery system that is able to do that? So the outcome of that at the end were a lot of maybe current issues that we were facing in the current setup. There were also some new things that were discussed, and it was actually pretty interesting also to see how all the several items and areas were connected to each other. So this is going to be the base for next steps, to operate more, to work more in that direction, iterate a bit more on that, and try to see if we can be even a bit more visionary what we want to have in the future as a delivery system, trying to remove all the blockers that we have, but also not think in terms of the blockers and problems we currently have, but how we could redesign the system from scratch if we start from a green field, from a blank slate. Do you have questions? I'm happy to take them and everything. There is also a recording, so if any one of you is interested to see that, I can share it with you. And it's also the Miro board that we use for the brainstorming is also available in the case you're also interested in that.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. A couple of kind of things around this. So we will do something similar in orchestration. That will be in a few weeks' time, which is related to a point I have further down. But we haven't forgotten about there being 2 teams. So if you haven't yet been involved in one of these, then there will be more of these coming. And I might actually share, this is super early stage. So the other piece that Michele and I have been working on between the kind of the long-term stuff is also the today. So what we have is a spreadsheet, and you may recognize some of this stuff. We're still working on this, but this gives you our current thinking of all of the open delivery issues. And where they might fit. So there's lots of room to shift this around. We've got another iteration that we're planning to try and help make this more useful, but just so you kind of can see some of the things that we're already going through to try and help us work out, like, what does the next 6 months or 2 years start to look like.
That's a lot of issues.
Yes, so we probably won't attempt to do all of them. I think one of the tricky things will actually be figuring out what's the stuff which we just park. Like maybe there are some themes we just literally just close out and say this isn't the thing. Hopefully some of our longer term thinking will remove the need. So some of this will be like, oh, these are current problems, and actually if we do this cool new thing, we won't have those problems. So we'll start to cut some of them down that way for sure. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Kelly. If anyone has any thoughts on that, then obviously like we can keep chatting about these things in Slack and these meetings, and there's no perfect divide between, you know, turning one team into two. There will be some messy bits. There will be some stuff we still need to be figuring out. So, you know, like feel free to keep asking questions and commenting and stuff as we try and work this out. Awesome. Over to release managers.
Okay, thank you, Amy. So I took some time to put some screenshot here, but I would like to experiment something new today, which is I'm gonna share my screen and walk you all through these 3 graphs here and showing what I see when I look at those numbers and what I'm currently looking at in terms of deployment, because maybe this is interesting. So, oh, here we go. That's my screen. Let me start with this one, which is my favorite new dashboard. So this is, I'm focusing on the upper side here. So we have in green, how many packages we are tagging in the past 24 hours of a given point. And the yellow line is packages not promoted to production. So what we want to have here is something like this. So there was a point in time midweek when we're doing great. Every single package we tagged ended up in production. What we don't want to have is a situation like this one where we tagged 10 packages and out of 10, 8 were not promoted. Like, so what struck my attention here was basically at this point here in time, we changed tagging frequency. I removed 2 points in time, and okay, it was also a good time because we had no incident and we were actually able to deploy almost everything we tagged. But the nice thing here is that this is the beginning of the week, and up until what it is this time here, so almost 8 UTC, we were not promoting anything. So which means that by the time I was able to start promoting something, we already wasted many packages. And so basically what we ended up removing are packages being tagged around this point in time every day. This was specifically true for Monday, because Monday we also have soft change locks in time. So Grames cannot promote stuff in his evening because it's still affected by the soft change lock that we have over the weekend. So basically the EMEA release manager is the only one allowed to start promoting something on Monday mornings. So all those things together show up here. And what we see also here is the family and friends day and the effect of not blocking auto deployment because we had an incident over Friday. So we were doing great, and all of a sudden we started ramping up of things getting tagged and not promoted because no one was around to actually promote them. I think except the only one that was the fix. And then we see things ramping down because of we are no longer tagging because we entered the weekend. And this show up as well this morning. This morning we had a problem. So the problem is that we had still something coming on from the incident, as well as we had another problem with the deployer pipeline, the release tools not being able to trigger a pipeline. That's the authorization problem that we have. So basically, we were not able to promote packages because the production canary trigger was not allowed because of that bug. And we basically see this because up until this point, we were still not able to promote packages. And so I managed to do 2 deployments, which we can see here. When this thing goes down, then goes up again because a new auto deploy branch comes in, and then 30 minutes ago, kind of. I promoted again, and then we see the number going down. So I like this graph because kind of gives the idea of how things are going for release managers. I will take a look at this, closer look at this in the next time. And then this one, I decided not to look at Sisense because I prefer to give a look at what we have in the product now that is tracking the right information. So these are just deployment frequency. As we can see, this is last month, right? So we peaked during this was still 15.0. We had some good moments in time. We were doing 7 deployment a day, but then basically we can see here that this was no longer the case in the past 2 weeks. This gives an idea of how much we are deploying, but it's not really that informative. I prefer this one because this one is the closer thing to MTTP that we have in the product. And this kind of show us, I mean, this aligns with the other things we were seeing in this graph here, right? When we struggle at the beginning of the week and then it goes better. So let me try to do, and then I promise that I will stop the last 30 days. So we see the same time span. Yeah. Beginning is hard, midweek, we're doing great. And then when at the end of the week, we start struggling again. We see this pattern. And this, no, this is not this as well here. And this pattern as well, we can see here, right? Because obviously in the Monday, we have MTTP, which is very long because we are accumulating things over the weekend. I hope this is just people working APAC shift and US shift on Friday and not many people working over the weekend, but everything could happen. And then midweek, we kind of go a couple of times, here is better, below the median threshold, which is 12 hours, which really aligns with our MTTP targets. And so basically the window, this popover is really annoying. So the thing is that at the beginning is bad, we gradually go better. Midweek, we tend to go below the target. And then closer to this time, Friday, probably because of the production changelog and the incident, overall, this kind of happened more in the Monday. So we're doing great. We stay below the threshold or around the targets, and then Monday is again a problem. So that's
interesting.
It.
One thing on that one before, let's see.
Yeah.
What's interesting to see there is look at May 27th. So look how low the spike is.
This one.
Yeah, so what that does tell us is on the really high peaks, it's there are probably things being merged sort of later in the day for the Americas, because on the 27th, we didn't have that because most people were on family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, my idea here is that just to push all of you to try to look at data and try to figure out what those data are telling us, or if we are missing some information. Oh Jesus! Okay, I did something. I enabled the recognition of gesture, and so my Zoom kind of lowered my rise in my head. That's it. Okay, and that's all from me. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That was super interesting. I love the comparison of tagging versus usage of package. I do wonder whether rather than not promoted, it might be more useful to show promoted, and where the lines match up, we know we're tagging and promoting consistently. The reason I kind of say that is we often have other uses for how many deployments did we make, like how many things got promoted. So it might be interesting to just be able to see them one on top of the other.
It's this graph below. So this one is promotion by environment. And there's no tagging here, but we hope that at least we get into staging canary. Otherwise, it's just a wasted package. So if the number doesn't match with the tagging, means that we had a tagging problem, a packaging problem. But here, that's basically here below is exactly the same graph. So in this point in time, where we weren't doing great, because we can see here above, we deployed everything. And basically here matches because all the environments are on the same number of packages deployed, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. I just find this harder to see because of the amount of environment we have.
Yeah.
And so this gives me the gap, right? So I want to have the gap as wide as possible, which means I'm not wasting packages, but we have both information available. So it's just a matter of preferences of what do we want to look at.
Nice. Great stuff. Thanks for sharing that. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up on the recording? Okay, I'll stop recording.